Hi Stampers, it's Terry at Rustic Barn Cards. Welcome. Today I'm going to share some masculine birthday cards with you, and I'm going to be using the stamp set Campology. If you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing by clicking the subscribe button down below. And if you like this video, I'd love for you to give me a thumbs up. So let's turn the camera down and let's start stamping. Welcome everyone. So as I said, I'm going to make some masculine birthday cards. I'm going to use this stamp set, Campology. Although the first card, I am going to use the little raccoon and the log from Mary Moose. And stay with me because I have a couple cards that I'm going to put together and then 3 others to show you. The first card I'm going to make is a 5x7, which is sometimes called an A7 card, but all the other cards I'm going to make are going to be A2, which is the 5.5 by 4 1/4 size. Okay, let me lay this aside and bring in our card base. So since this is going to be a 5x7, you are going to cut, it'll be 7 wide by 10 inches long. And then you're going to score this at 5 inches. And I have already done that. And then my layer is early espresso, and it is 6 3/4 by 4 3/4. And then the next layer is crumb cake, and it is cut at 6 5/8 by 4 5/8. And then I use this subtle embossing folder, which I've already run through. So what I did, I placed it in here, and because this is a larger card, notice that part of it is not in the embossing folder. So I ran this through, then I took it out and I placed it back in like this and ran it through again, which is why we have this ridge right here, which I'm going to show you how I'll be able to fix that. And then I've already stamped, and I took this largest stamp in, and I used crumb cake ink, and I stamped on this layer. So I'm going to turn the card over, and I stamped the trees from the Campology set, and I stamped the little raccoon from the Mary Moose, and then these little birds, and I did make a mistake, but I'm going to show you how we're going to try to fix that. And what I did here for the birds is that I used this little birdhouse with the 2 birds from Life is Beautiful. And you know how I like to stamp and then cover up. So let me show you how I did that. I used early espresso ink. And then I covered this up. And then I have a little bird. So that is how I did that on the card. But as you can see, right here, I didn't have this covered all the way, and so it did show. but it worked fine for the others. And then I stamped the tent onto Whisper White, and I used blends to color, and I used crumb cake and old olive, and I'm going to pop that up right here. And then I cut out a piece of early espresso, and this will be, the dimensions will be in the description below. And I stamped Happy Birthday, and I used the stamp set, Here's a Card, for the Happy Birthday. This stamp set doesn't have any images, but it has lots of different sentiments. So, congratulations, thank you for being my friend, you made my day, thanks, happy birthday. So, this is an awesome stamp set because you have so many sentiments you can use, and even ones that you can put inside or on the outside of the card. Okay, so I'm going to turn this over. We're going to add some dimensionals. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to cover up this little ridge from where we had to put it twice in the embossing folder. So I have taken some early espresso ribbon, and I am going to bring in my silicone sheet because the glue does not stick to that. So I want to make sure this covers. So I'm going to turn that over. Bring in my Stampin' Seal. And then before I put the other one, I want to make sure that I have that covered up. And we can put a glue dot on the front under the ribbon. So you can add your adhesive on the cardstock or on the ribbon, whichever works the best for you. And then that is covered up. Okay, now I'm going to add the early espresso layer to my card base. And I'm going to use liquid glue for this. And the reason I do this is because it does give me a little bit more time if I need to move my cardstock around. I have a little bit more time than I do with the Stampin' Seal. And this card is going to lay this way. And I think I'm going to go ahead and add this layer, and then we'll finish the front of it. But I do have several cards to show you today, so I hope you'll stay with me. And again, we may put a glue dot under here to keep this ribbon down. Let me find the tent. Because the tent is right here. So now I'm going to add some glue dots. Not glue dots, I'm going to add dimensionals. All right, so I added 3 dimensionals. And I'm going to kind of place this sentiment over here so I know how much room I have. And that looks about right. And then I am going to turn this over and add some adhesive. And then we'll pop this, turn this over and pop it up with some dimensionals. And then we will add this right down here. And then I am going to bring in some glue dots and my take your pick tool. And then I'm just going to pick this up and place it under the ribbon. And now we still need to fix this. So what I did is that I stamped another bird and I cut it out, which wasn't easy, and it may not look quite as good as the others because it was so tiny. But I'm going to bring in some fine tip glue pen. And sometimes you just have to wipe that a little bit. And then I'm just going to put a little glue here. Okay. And put that little bird right over where I didn't want to put that one little over that little mark. Now we could add some embellishments, but I think with the birds that is fine. So here is our first card, and then inside I already stamped "Enjoy Today," and I put stamped the little binoculars at the bottom. So this is our first card. In my next birthday card, I'm going to be using Mossy Meadow and Whisper White. And I'll be using this stamp. And again, I'm going to be using Happy Birthday from Here's a Card. And I'm also going to be using the Evergreen Forest 3D folder. So you'll need Whisper White, cut it 8 1/2 by 5 1/2 and scored at 4 1/4. You'll need a layer of mossy green cut at 5 1/4 by 4. You'll need a Whisper White layer 5 1/8 by 3 3/4. And then you're going to need just a scrap of Whisper White because we're going to be using a circle punch. And you also need a scrap of Mossy Meadow. And I've already cut out, using the circle punch, 2 1/2 inch circle. So the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and layer our Mossy Meadow on our card base. Now I have 3 more cards I'm just going to share with you that I already have made. And they are using different colors. So we'll see which one that you like the best. So I'm going to line this Mossy Meadow up the best I can. All right. And then I'm going to take the Whisper White and I'm going to go ahead and bring in the embossing folder. And I'm going to place this, I want as much of the trees here to show, but I want to leave a little bit. So I'm going to bring it in at the top without trees. So there we go. So I'm going to leave this space up here, and then the rest will be the evergreen tree. So I'm going to go ahead and run that through. And here we go. Isn't that pretty? So I'm going to be layering this right on here. I think I'm going to lay it this way. You can use either side, but I'm going to lay it. I'm going to lay it here on this side. So I'm going to go ahead and add some adhesive to the back. And once again, I'm going to open that card up. And let's see if I can get it a little straighter. Okay. Lay that aside. And then I'm going to bring in the mossy metal, because I want to stamp our little lantern. Feel like I have, yes, I have a stamp underneath my ink pad. Maybe some of you that's happened to. Since I'm going to use the punch, I may have needed that to bring that over a little bit, but I think we can get that to work just right. So it won't have the entire lantern, but you'll be able to tell. And I could fussy cut this out, but I'm not going to. Get it straight. There we go. And this is the 2 1/4 punch. And then I'm going to bring in the happy birthday and ink that up. And I'm going to put that, I'm going to stamp right here. And then I'm going to go ahead and trim this using the trimmer. And I trimmed our sentiment. Let me close this. I think we're finished with that. And I think I need to add just a little bit more adhesive down here on our card. All right. Now we are going to turn this over. I think the Stampin' Seal and I are getting along a little bit better today than usual, which is good. Turn this over and add some dimensionals. I've added 5 dimensionals. And I'm going to put this down in the lower right-hand corner. Pop that up. Then I'm going to turn this over and add some dimensionals. But I want to explain, I'm going to place this on here, but this already has, it's already popped up with dimensionals. So I'm only going to put the dimensional under the B on birthday. And then I'm going to add some adhesive here. So on this part, I'm going to add some adhesive. There we go. And started here. There we go. So that way it's popped up here, but not here. Otherwise, this would be up in the air. Does that make sense? I'm going to bring in the adhesive back snowflakes, and I'm going to switch. See, that just comes out, and you turn it around, and then you can just turn it. And I'm just going to add a snowflake up there. There's some in here that's green. That one wasn't, but it wouldn't really matter. And we'll put one down here, and then we'll add one more. And there's our card. Okay, let me show you the other three that I already have made. And they're similar, but a little bit different. And we'll see which one you like the best. So on this next card, I used Misty Moonlight for my card base. And Misty Moonlight ribbon. And again, I used the circle punches. And I stamped the binoculars and the tent on the layer of Whisper White. And then I stamped Happy Birthday, and I added one Misty Moonlight dot for Happy Birthday. The next card, I used the Evergreen Forest. So again, I used Misty Moonlight for my card base, Evergreen Forest, and then I used some DSP. And the DSP I use is playing with patterns. And I cut, I believe, two or 3 inches wide. And then I used the oval from the layering oval dies. So I use this size right here. And I stamped the coffee pot and cup, popped it up with dimensionals, and then stamped Enjoy Today, which also is from the Campology Stamp set. And then inside, you can add Happy Birthday. So Enjoy Today, and then inside add Happy Birthday and a Misty Moonlight dot. The last birthday card to share with you today is similar. It's similar to this one, only I did not add any DSP. I went ahead and used the Evergreen Forest 3D embossing folder. And I did this the same as I did on this card, only I added some snowflakes. And then I did add some, in Misty Moonlight, a little bit of snow from that Merry Moose stamp set. Then on the other card, I used the raccoon, but this time I used the little snow. So these are all some ideas for masculine birthday cards, and these three would be especially for winter time, although this one could be for any time. And then the 5x7 that I created could also be any time. So these two could be any time, but these three probably a winter birthday. So let me know which card that you like the best. Do you like it in the Evergreen Forest with the Misty Moonlight, or the Mossy Meadow? Or did you like the 5x7 with more of a camping field, or camping feel? Or do you like the Misty Moonlight with a circle punch of Happy Birthday? So I hope I've given you some ideas and you could make some birthday cards. Leave me a comment if you like this video. Please subscribe. Thank you for watching, and have a blessed day.